If you want to cook pilau, you first of all start with preparing your ingredients. So right now I was cooking the onions. Yeah, so when you cook pilau, you can use a little extra onions than in normal cooking. Yeah, you can use 3 or 2 depending on the size of the onion. Also, I boiled my meat over there. So I boiled my meat. Also wash my rice and let it settle for a while before cooking it. And that one is those seeds. Yeah, they are put in it's a raw spice. Yeah, and normally I prefer to use them, but this time around they were not available. Yeah, so I just had that one in there and continue stirring. I don't know if you leave your onions to be completely brown, but personally I don't, because I always feel like they are going to burn. Yeah, so I added the meat without the soup. So I boiled the meat with a lot of soup and put the soup around. And pour the soup in a glass or something, somewhere where I can use it later. You're going to see me using it. Yeah, but I forgot to add garlic and ginger. So before you add your meat, add garlic and ginger. Yeah, so I just remembered after this. After adding garlic and ginger, I just let the meat cook. But for this case, I forgot to add it, so I added it later, but it's still cooked. So yeah, we're okay. You can see that is where now I added garlic and ginger. Then this is my way of cooking it personally. Before I used to use tomatoes, but I no longer do that because my auntie who knows how to cook pilau better said that we don't use tomatoes in pilau. So me too, yeah. And it tastes way better without tomatoes actually. Even way better when you prepare the pilau masala for yourself. Yeah. Next time I'll show you how she taught me how to make the pilau masala from the whole spices. I don't know what I was doing here. Sweet. Oh, now that's when I added the pilau masala. Yeah, I was just listening to my ancestors. Didn't use any measurements. Now when they said stop, I continued. I just mixed them together so that the spices can cook, because I added my garlic late, so I had to add some soup. Yeah, so that it don't get roasted. You can see keeping the soup for later has some use, has its benefits. But if you just decide to boil your meat until it dries, it is also okay. So at this juncture, that is where I added my salt. As always, as I've said, I just listened to my ancestors. Unfortunately, this time around, I think they lied to me. Because I later realized that the salt was not enough at a very bad stage, actually. There are two stages where you can add salt. It's when you're cooking the onions, and also at this stage. Yeah, so I just added in my rice. I don't put water first, I just put rice first, and then stir it for it just to get the color of the stew. Yeah, like I was saying, there are two. You can rectify your salt issues. If you don't want to have such issues, you can add your salt when you're doing what? Oh my god, that block. When you're cooking your onions, and then, or so that it is easy to rectify later. But once you made a mistake on this stage, you cannot start. After you have added the water, you cannot start stirring the rice once again. So yeah, no one wants a pilau. So that there is when I add the soup. I use the soup as water for me. Don't like adding water at this particular stage, so I just boil the meat with a lot of soup, which I use for is water. But if the soup is not enough, I also add water. Yeah, like that one was a mixture of soup and water. The one I just added. And then at this stage it's very safe to stir your rice. Yeah, so make sure your rice is of high quality for you to stir it, because if there's those types of rice that when you stir they break or they just look mashed. Yeah, so mine was good. As you can see, you just stir slowly. Yeah. So after that, I tasted the salt, and to my shock, it was not enough. I thought now it was okay, but later I realized the salt was not enough, so I had to add again. But thank God this rice was high quality, so it didn't break. The rest didn't break. Yeah, so simply that's just how you make pilau for me. Yeah, I know it's a bit different for everyone else, but for me that's just how I make mine. It would have had more. Okay, my neighbors are making noise. Excuse that. Guys, let me just tell you something. I know you're going to hear me say it again. Yesterday I went to my final class. Yeah, and that's how the rice came out. That thing I was to say you're going to it in another vlog.